We only want the Christ. All right. And so we are live on YouTube. Zulma Gonzalez, this mic is all yours.
Well, a thankful Thursday, family. A thankful Thursday. I'm trying to connect my second monitor. Remember when I used to have that second monitor? How wonderful that was. Well, since at least for me anyway, when I got the new hard drive this morning, just a few minutes ago, I said, "Let me go connect the second monitor," and I didn't remember that. I don't remember how to do that. So, Regis, I'm hoping you can hear me. I saw you earlier. I called you, but you didn't answer the phone. I'm I'm trying. I want to connect my second monitor, and I need your help. If you can hear me, that would be wonderful. And if not, well, then we'll just have to do it without the second monitor. Anyway, all is well. All is well in the neighborhood and all that kind of good stuff. I have been making decisions, um, working on making continuous decisions. Trying to be consistent and stuff with um with a with my decluttering project. I I'm hooked on this game. I'm hooked on this game called Queen's Master. It's on the Android uh, phone, and it's actually a logic game, and it's a process of elimination based on colors. So, you can't have more than two of the same thing. Can't have two 8 rows or seven, 8 or 9 rows. You have to have one in each column and one in the other, going the other way. The queen, this crown. Anyway, um, I've been frustrated. I had been frustrated because it seemed that I couldn't figure out what system works for me um, to declutter. And I get to a space, I'll, do something and I'll stop and then I'll, talk to myself about, this just isn't working. And um, I'm not telling myself, I've not been telling myself anymore that I can't. What I have been telling myself is I just hadn't figured out the system yet. And that's good because changing the way I was seeing it was a big help. Anyway, at 5 o'clock yesterday morning, I'm playing this game. Yeah, it gets like that. It's addictive for me. I started playing it in February, and I'm already like level 612. Anyhow, I'm playing this game, and as I got a win, and I heard process of elimination. I'm focusing rather than focusing on what I want to keep. I've changed the focus to what no longer serves me, what I can get rid of. Anyway, that sounds so simple to those who know that, easily. But for me, it just wasn't that way. It's like so now I'm literally walking around with a bag like, okay, I don't want this. I don't need this. Okay, this no longer serves me. This is part of my past. And the course, as you may know, has been a big help to me in this area. I started writing a book, seems like a gazillion years ago. Um, it's closer to where it started to being finished than to being finished. But I gave it a name and I decided how I thought I had decided how I was going to write it and all that. Then I decided, you know what, I'm going to do this a day for a passage for every day or a thought for every day because I need something every day. I need something with consistency. Um, and that's what and my focus had been on the decluttering process and the book. And in my mind, the decluttering process had to be complete before the book can be complete because I feel like, well, how can I say that I can do this if I haven't really done it? And I thought, you know what? That's a mistake. That's a mistake. Anyway, that's all the story I've got right now. I have chosen not to go to work. I didn't go to work last week, the week before. Haven't been to work at all this week. Just don't feel like it. Just don't feel like it. So that's all the story I've got. I may remember something else later, but for now, that's all I have. Um, I do want to go back to what I heard Lori talking about. Lori was saying that Well, first of all, let me say hi to people. Let me see who's here. And on the court, according to my screen, it's Regis and Sharon and Steve and Lori and Lynn and Deb and Dove and Sally and Glorian. Um, thank you for being here. I love you, love you, love you. Um, I could probably do this without you, but it would be no fun. It would be no fun because I'm anticipating um, feedback, comments somewhere along the way. So no, I guess I really couldn't do it without you. Not if I expected some feedback and some comments. I would appreciate it. Um, I'm always open to suggestions. I'm always open to learning. I'm always open to if you have a handle on something that I don't have a handle on, and you think that you may have a suggestion. I don't like the word advice. You think you may have a suggestion um, that could assist me, that could help me in my project. I would appreciate it. I really would. Um, not necessarily in the chat, but offline or what have you. Um, and for those of you who are there's a book that was called years ago, it was called The Messi's Manual. And the Messi's Manual was written by two women, I think they're sisters, I'm not even sure now, who who talked about people who are BOs. Now, BO does not stand for body order, it stands for born organized. That there are some people who just automatically, their minds automatically think that way. Well, mine isn't one of them, or in some areas maybe, but not as much as I would prefer. Anyway, so if you're one of those, if you happen to be one of those, I'm even going to put my email in the chat. If you happen to be one of those and you think that you might have a suggestion, something that may help me, I would appreciate it. Seriously. Because I'm on a mission. I am on a mission. Um, I am absolutely on a mission. EACHER at Gmail. I just put my email in the chat. Um, Release. Dove had just written earlier about relax your mind and release your thoughts, let go. And it's the same principle because what we do comes from what we think. Um, releasing is releasing. What I what I what I have comes from what I've felt about, and what I have felt about has come from what I've thought about. In other words, the things that I have purchased, the things that I own, which is a behavioral thing because the act of purchasing came because I felt something, felt some kind of way, and felt like I had to have that thing. It's interesting when you look at all this stuff like, I don't, why did I even buy that kind of thing, or what is this, um, and all that begins with a thought. So yeah, it's about relaxing. And the question that Dove just put in the chat, what teacher is teaching me? Yeah, well, yeah, yeah. Anyway, so that's that. Regis, if you can hear me, I need help with my monitor. I'd appreciate it. Meanwhile, um, let's go to the screen. Let's do it the old-fashioned way and see what happens. Let us see what happens. My energy is kind of mellow today. Oh, that's what I want to talk about. Lori mentioned something about suffering, how some metaphysical teachings teach about suffering. And I'm thankful that that we have to that's it's just like, oh, accept suffering. It's part of it's part of the heck to the no. I don't know what which teaching you're talking about, but if someone had told me that I had to just that I had to just accept suffering, I would be on my heels and going the other way quick. I think it was Angela Davis who said um, something like it's written that accept the things you can't change. And she said, no, I'm going to change the things I can't accept. And I thought, yeah, now there's a way to think. It's really about changing, always changing and changing my mind. I'm not going to be happy uh finding reasons to suffer. I don't know. I really don't know what teaching that is. I'm glad it's not something that I'm a part of. When I heard her say that, I'm like, ew, ew. Oh, I'd be on my heels and running fast, fast. Somebody told me I had to accept suffering. That just sounds like abuse. I left my first husband on that one. Can you hear me? Good. I need help with my monitor, brother. I'm trying to connect my second monitor, and I don't remember how to do that. So if you would help me, thank you, thank you, thank you, please. Um, yeah, Lori, I read that. That's not that style doesn't work for me. It, it doesn't work for me. My brain doesn't, all that folding it and thanking it for. My brain doesn't do that. Yeah, I tried that. Um, the steps are clear, but the style doesn't work. That style doesn't work for me. Um, the best one of the best things I can do is set a timer and make it a game. Just see, set a timer for X amount of time. Um, this is where um, understanding the ADHD thing, the ADHD brain comes in. This is where that part comes in. Um, but anyway, that's one of the things I do. I set a timer and I just make it a game. Um, and I set a timer for 15 minutes. And the goal is to keep moving in that 15 minutes because it's too easy for something else to catch my attention. Like, oh, and it could be, while I'm in the process of decluttering, I may find an envelope that had some notes on it. And now I've stopped, I put the bag down and I start looking at the notes. Oh, wait a minute, I need to put this in my notebook because then I can throw the envelope away. But in the process, I may move to something else anyway. Um, um, Lynn wrote, learn to love the clutter. See, it is beautiful. And I recognize it's all God. What I'm also recognizing is that there's such a thing as too much. And yes, I remember, Lynn, being in advanced studies one when I first was studying for my license as a science of mind practitioner. Um, in the first year, having a conversation, might have been the beginning of the second year, having a conversation with Reverend Sheila and saying to her, the word abundance does not feel good to me. um the because my idea, and that's gradually changing, but when I think abundance and in my life, it just means too much stuff. It means too much stuff. So no, I have to I'm looking at that and understanding. What I am understanding, though, is that I have never not had uh enough. I've always had, in fact, more than enough. There's never been a time when I've been hungry or, um, didn't have clothes on my back or bills, utilities turned off, not intentionally. Once my telephone, only because I didn't realize that the time to pay it had passed. But I've never had any of that happen, and I'm grateful to be able to say that. Um, so I've always had the means. I've always had enough that way. So I had to even start to think about, since they say that the whole idea of this has to do with a sense of lack. I had to look at that, and see, well, what is it that where I feel I'm lacking. Well, um I came to realize that I was identifying, that I have been identifying, that I identify, gradually letting that go, with my stuff. For example, if you saw my book collection, which collections, if you oh you would think, oh, in my irrational mind, oh man, she's really well read. Well, the question is, how many of these books have I read, any all of these books all the way through? Absolutely not. Are there some books I haven't even opened? Have I found a book like, where'd this come from? What is this? Why did I buy this? Um, or I was a Toastmaster back in the 80s. I was, certified as a Toastmaster. And and one day in an attempt to get rid of some stuff, um, I had a friend who was helping me who took my Toastmasters manuals and threw them in the recycle bin. And I looked and tears popped into my eyes immediately. Big tears. I mean the big ones, the ones that the ones that hurt tears. And I remember clearly saying, "You are throwing away my memories." And the response I got was, "No, your memories are here. Those are just, whatever." And and I heard that. However, I still have those. I still have my Toastmasters manuals. I did grab those again. And I realized that that was something, that was one of those things that I wanted. It had speeches, some speeches that I had written that I have actually used again. Have come, not the speech itself, but I've had opportunities to talk about some of those speeches. Um, and I know Toastmasters it's a whole lot different than it was back then. I'm talking about this was in the 80s. Um, and all that. And at some point, I certainly will throw away the manuals. In fact, now that I'm thinking about it, I'll do that today. It's just the speeches themselves that I need to hold on to, and that's all. But in my mind, these things, it's what the course talks about, as far as idols go, something where we're looking for something that's to substitute for God. It's crazy. We're identifying with that thing. You can tell that um uh by some of the books I have, you can tell that I like reading um self-improvement or spiritually based books, or that I study Photoshop. I used to study Photoshop. I have put the Photoshop books in a box, and they're going. They're out of here. I graduated with my communications technology degree back in 2015. It dawned on me that that was 11 years ago. My God. I don't even use Photoshop now because it's a rental and you have to pay 30 some odd dollars a month just to own it. It used to be that you could buy the discs. Remember those days? But it's a rental thing now. So I don't even use Photoshop anymore. So there's no reason. Basically, it's me holding on to my past. It's a tangible way to hold on to the past. It's interesting because we know that in truth, we can't hold on to the past. But for me, I can see this and it reminds me tangibly of a time when. But I understand that this breath I just took is now, and times when don't exist anymore. There is no way that I can um, um, there's no way that I can bring back those times. They've come, they've gone, they've served their purpose, and it's time for me to recognize and realize that and just let go. Now, to say just let go is as easy with me with tangibles as it may be for someone who is holding a grudge and has been holding it, and they've been working at it, and they've gone to therapy about it, and they've this and they've that about that, and they can't seem, quote, quote, can't seem to let that thing go. Well, that's how it is for me with the tangibles. Lynn suggests giving the books to a prison. That's a good idea. Somebody just told me, just take them to a Goodwill. Um, it helped me yesterday when I heard someone say that she had just given 300 books to a Goodwill. I'm like, what? Of course, it made me shudder painfully. Oh, yeah, I didn't get them with my books. But it's not just books. But anyhow. So um the whole thing, it's just the whole thing about just keeping what I enjoy, because I like everything I've got. I like it all, do. But some things, still give me a rush. There are some books that I can just look at it on the Kindle. I can just look at the book like I want to open that book and read some of it right now. The Course is one of them. The Course is one of them. Now, I'm that person that still has my first edition course. Am I reading it? No. Am I using it? No. It's symbolically important to me because that was where that point of stopping hatred came from. Learning to see mommy, my mother, as she was instead of who I thought she should be, came from. Symbolically, that book has meaning to me. And it's in that book that's written December 7th, 1992, in chapter 13, the fourth section, The Function of Time. Um, Symbolically, it means something to me. Uh, anyway, that wasn't at all my intention today to talk about, but here it is. Um, I love it when the spirit just says, "This is it." I thought I had no stories. I had no stories today. I guess I did. All right. So let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it from the start. Slideshow from current slide. From current slide. And gosh, I wish I had that second monitor working. Regis, help me, brother, please. Okay, Course in Miracles meets Science of Mind and Other Metaphysical Teachings. I don't know. I have not read any among these authors that talk about accepting suffering. I heard Lori say that, and I'm like, oh, what? Oh, no, 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 no. I left my first husband because of that. I wasn't the person that was willing to just accept. Oh, where'd that come from? Here we go. Let's daily train our thought to recognize the spirit in everything we do, say, and think. I'm just going to kind of run through these today. We should daily train our thought to recognize the spirit in everything we do, say, or think. To learn how to think is to learn how to live. That's just remembering that it's all God. It's all God. God is in everything I see because God is in my mind. It's all God. We naturally become master over all life when we can understand and master the process of thinking. Our thoughts determine everything for us. Really, our thoughts determine everything. And of course, miracle principle number 12 reminds us that miracles are thoughts. And that you can think from the spirit level 1, or you can think from the body level 2. And if you're thinking from a spirit level, then you're thinking it, then you recognize the oneness of it all. And if you're looking at it from the body level, then you think that everything is separate, and you have to analyze everything. That's the ego thought system, the ego decision. And that level 1 is the Holy Spirit decision. And the Holy Spirit is just basically the right mind, the right minded way to think, the way to think with the thoughts of peace. Joe Goldsmith reminds us to keep the word of God alive. Keep it alive. Keep it alive in your thought and your experience. Keep it alive. Engage with God, the Course teaches. Engage with God. Stay out of that sleep of forgetting. Stay out of that sleep of forgetfulness. Guard your thoughts. That's the way the Course tells it. The Course reminds us then that this is a course in mind training and that all learning involves attention and study at some level. Um, I know a person who comes to an in-person study group that I facilitate. I facilitate a group on Mondays. I call it the Irish Connection. Everybody's Irish except me. But anyway, it's the Irish Connection Course in Miracles. There's this one woman who only opens the book the day of the study group. She is not studying the course. She is not, and then she's going into why things are just so awful. Why she's feeling sorry for herself, why somebody why she's a victim, and all that. And I just it gets to a point where yeah. And I said, well, did you look at did you look at the well, no, what about, have you just no, well, and I realized that she's just there for the camaraderie. Anyway, an untrained mind can accomplish nothing. It's as simple as that. Nothing. And Emmett Fox wrote that you must stop thinking of the trouble, whatever it is. Oops, 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 didn't mean to do that. You must stop thinking of the trouble, whatever it is. Wait a minute, I'm having a problem here. I can't. Where is it? Where is it? Okay. The rule is to think about God. If you're thinking about your difficulty, you're not thinking about God. To be continually glancing over your shoulder in order to see how matters are progressing is fatal, because it is thinking about it is because it is thinking of the trouble You must think of God and nothing else. Let me repeat that. To be continually glancing over your shoulder in order to see how matters are progressing is fatal, because it is thinking of the trouble, and you must think of God and nothing else. Yeah, in other words, bottom line, you can't, as long as you see a problem, you're going to have one. Which in truth is not even there, because problems are already solved. There are no problems in God. God has no problems. Principle has no problems. That's actually a quote from Ernest Holmes' book, This Thing Called You. God has no problems. There are no problems. Everything simply is. It's how I choose to see it that's the problem. And oh God, how I choose to see it sometimes. So every response you make, and this is what I want to talk about. Every response you make is determined by what you think you are. What do you think? What do you think you are? What you want to be is what you think you are. I think I want to be, because see, that want to be, that's future based, and there is no future. So I am what I think I am. I am what I think I want to be, because in that moment, in that moment, I'm actually there. I'm envisioning it. But the key, of course, is to put feeling behind it, because a lot of times, you know, people, well, yeah, I've been guilty of reading the lesson, or reading whatever, in a study group, reading, and I'm just reading words, and there's no feeling behind it. And then I can't figure out why, that such and such didn't work for me. Oh yeah, because the lesson was, oh, what was that lesson? Oh, what was that lesson? Where I really wasn't giving it any real attention, wasn't giving it what it required. An untrained mind accomplishes nothing. It study at some attention, and study at some level. It's required. It's required. All learning requires that. So I'm not learning anything if I'm, just reading the words. All right. Um. Oh, I'm still reading the chat. I'm still on that. Okay. So this is where I was, but this isn't where I want to be. I did have another quote, that another passage that caught my attention, and it was right here. It's from James Allen. You know him, As a Man Thinketh, so in his heart. He wrote that book, As a Man Thinketh. He wrote in his daily, he has a 365 book. And he starts out with, every sin must be overcome. And of course, we know sins are just errors. The errors must be overcome. No. Every sin may be overcome. Every error may be overcome. I can keep on thinking the same things over and over again, and doing the same things over and over again, and just, claim. There was that, what do they say? When you know better, you do better. That's not true. That's not true. I know better. I don't necessarily do better. Um, and then the question comes, do I really know it? Because if I knew it deep down, if I knew it in my heart of hearts, if I knew it with all that feeling behind it, then it would become automatic. When I understand, when I recognize that I have had a change of thought, a change of mind, that I have had, that I have accepted the atonement for myself, accepted it, because it's not my job. It's not my job. Atonement is not my task, the Course teaches. Atoning is not my task. Accepting the atonement is. A man's life, James Allen wrote, in its totality, proceeds from his mind. And his mind is a combination of habits, which he can, by patient effort, modify to any extent, and over which he can gain complete ascendancy and control. Upward thoughts in the Bible, it says, keep your mind, don't focus on the earthly things, the focus on heavenly things. Ascendancy, not heaven like someplace up there. but of just raising the bar, just raising the bar. In fact, realizing that there is no bar, that there is only heaven, that there's only that kingdom, and that that kingdom is me, that I can gain. My mind is a combination of habits. In the course, it says the habit of engaging with God, the habit of engaging with God is easy if you actively refuse to not let your mind slip away. Huh. Actively refuse. And if I actively refuse often enough, then that becomes a habit. Here we go. A man's life in its totality proceeds from his mind, and his mind is a combination of habits which he can, by patient effort, modify to any extent, and over which he can gain complete ascendancy and control. Now, I'm talking to my little ADHD brain with that one. Patient effort, because that's a thing, but because I know that that's a thing, set a timer, and I patiently, with effort, keep going. um let a man realize this, let one realize this, and he has at once obtained possession of the key which shall open the door to his complete emancipation, to his complete salvation, to his Christ consciousness. But emancipation from the ills of life, which are the ills of one's mind, is a matter of steady growth from within, and not a sudden acquisition from without. In the course, it talks about, oh, prisoners who have been imprisoned, in the dark, and all that, when they don't like automatically go, yay, because the lights came on. If anything, it takes them time to adjust to that light. It takes time to get accustomed to not having a glass ceiling, and thinking that, or even just going beyond those walls. They talk about mm, was it mosquitoes or something? I don't know. No, some kind of something that jumps, some kind of a flying insect that jumps. Might have been flies. I don't know. They had put them in a jar, and put the lid on them, and they kept jumping. They kept trying to jump out. They kept trying to jump out, but they kept hitting that the lid, and hitting the lid, and hitting the lid, and then eventually, over time, they had become so accustomed to that they were able to take the lid off, and they wouldn't jump any further. They couldn't jump any higher. They had come to believe that they couldn't, because they had gotten into the habit of thinking that they can't. That's what we do. We get into the habit of thinking that we can't. We get in the habit of thinking that we have this problem that we can't overcome. I am determined. I am determined. Zulma is determined to see things differently. I am determined to not think that I have to uh, live uncomfortably. No, I I threw away papers yesterday that were dated 2014. Are you? They don't serve any purpose whatsoever. They serve no purpose. I question what for. They served no purpose. They just happen to be in a bag, in a box, over there in a corner somewhere. Like, what's this? Um, Emancipation from the ills of life, which are the ills of one's mind, is a matter of steady growth from within, and not a sudden acquisition from without. Hourly and daily must the mind be trained to think stainless thoughts. Wow. Those are the Holy Spirit decision, that decision. Trained to think stainless thoughts, and to adopt right and dispassionate attitudes. Because, of course, what we do comes from what we think, until he has wrought out of it the ideal of his holiest dreams. That is what, to the point where when I'm recognizing and knowing that I and the Father are one, that every step I take is God informed. And yeah, I'm going to stumble, but I can just get right back up. I can get back up. I don't have to stay in that place. I don't have to live in misery. I don't have to suffer. I don't have to live in pain. I don't have to do that. The higher life is a higher living in thought, word, and deed. I'm going to drop the screen for a minute, because stop share for a minute, because I'm going to go back to these other slides. Um, we are already past this. Uh-huh. Okay. Um, Raymond Charles Barker and Ernest Holmes in their 365 Days of Richer Living. Let me get that on the screen. Let me get that on the screen. Let me get that on the screen. Those two together in their book wrote, I am resolved today to see the good in everyone and in every event. That keeps reminding me God is in everything I see because God is in my mind. I shall call upon the good and shall refuse to accept that anything other than good can come into my experience. And I'm going to substitute the word good for just truth because when I think good, there's good and bad. That's the way in my mind I see it. There's that opposite, but there is no opposite to truth. There's just the truth. Truth is, and that's it. Anything other than truth, what we call lies and deception and illusions and fantasies and all that, none of that stuff is real. I mean, really not real. And I don't mean not real as in temporary. I mean, it's just not real. It's just made up stories. I see God in everything. I'm quoting again, personified in all people, manifest in every event. The spirit is not separated from the person or the event. It unites each to itself, vitalizing each with the energy of its own being, creating each through its own divine imagination. I, too, am an instrument of its perfection. And perfection means completion. I'm complete. I can't be compared to anybody else. I mean, you can try, but how is that possible? I'm not them. I can't compare a snowflake to a blade of grass, you know, supposed to be different. In fact, you can't compare two snowflakes or two blades of grass. They're supposed to be different. So to go around thinking you're not enough, that's enough what? Of how? How can you not be enough? What can you not be enough of? You simply are. I too, back to the reading, am an instrument of its perfection. And today I recognize my union, which is perfect and complete. There's just things that cross my path. I just figured I'd share them today. Um, so I was talking about this is in my book. Um, the letting go thing, the whole letting go thing, the whole decision making thing, letting go from the course, different passages. You have taught yourself that imprisonment is freedom. You had already taught yourself wrongly, having believed what was not true. You did not believe in your own perfection. I thought something was wrong with me. Something has to be wrong with me because this happened and that happened and I wasn't taught this and this is the way I was brought up and those people and those peers and those teachers and for some that those substances, that nicotine and all that and I've been diagnosed with COPD. I don't not believing in my own perfection. I'm not any of that. Those situations and experiences are just they're body experiences, and I can't deny that those things have occurred, that those things occurred in my life, but they're not occurring now. I have choices today. I had choices then, I just didn't know it, and I can choose. I'm never upset for the reason I think. Hmm, I can see peace. I can choose to see it differently. I am determined to see it differently. Hmm. In the blessed instant, you will let go all your past learning. These are just passages from the course. Remember nothing that you taught yourself, for you were badly taught. And who would keep a senseless lesson in his mind when he can learn and preserve a better one? Remember nothing that you taught yourself. Stop running around thinking that you're just right. Stop thinking that you just have all the answers. Stop thinking that you get it and somebody else doesn't get it. Oh my, that's a call for love on your part if that's the case. It's a call for love on my part if that's the case. And surely, none of us can say, "Oh no, I don't judge that." Oh, that's no, kumbaya. It's just, I get it. They're, that's their call for love. That's your call for love. That's my call for love. If I'm, running around talking about everybody's call for love, what am I looking at? What am I looking with? Resign now as your own teacher. Resign now, right now, as your own teacher. Stop running around thinking you've got it because, oh, well, see, I've been studying the course since 1992, so I must. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. You tell me how you're living. I'll tell you what you're thinking. That's what Ernest Holmes said. Show me how you're living. I'll tell you what you're thinking. I can't say that I've got it. I've got it. When I'm talking about being attached, not connected, attached to a book or attached to whatever, a manual, attached to an article of clothing. No, your past learning must have taught you the wrong things simply because it has not made you happy. My past learning, and that realization for me was like a major aha. That one that's where it became easy and easier. It becomes easier to think, above all else, I want to see things differently because the way I'm seeing things is hurt. I'm hurting myself with it. And no, I'm not trying to be that one that's doing the suffering. I'm not, whatever that practice is. No, 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 no. I don't like the idea of suffering. I don't want to suffer. And I'm not, I get that things happen, every now and then I got this thing going on in my, parts of my body, but I'm not, running around, ooh, that feels good. I'm just going to accept it. No, heck no, I'm calling a doctor. I'm going to take some Tylenol. I'm going to do something. No, not me. Not me. Okay. Joe Goldsmith, he said, you were given both a mind and a body. The mind is not you, nor is the body. Now, this is the key. The mind is not me. I am not my mind. Mm-mm. The mind is not you, nor is the body. I am you. The I, which is your true identity. Your mind and your body are something that you possess. The mind is the instrument which you use for thinking or reasoning purposes or for any purpose of awareness. And it is through your mind that you are able to judge and make decisions. The body is also an instrument, a physical instrument. And I stopped the sentence there. I meant to put ellipses there, dot, 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 and just didn't. But yeah, the body is the tool that we use for me to be able to talk to you right now, for you to be able to hear, for you to hear me with your ears, for me to talk to you with my mouth. The body is necessary. It's necessary. Now, I may be able, later on to just sit here and say nothing, and I may think a thought that you might just pick up. That's possible. But generally speaking, that's not how we do it. That's not how we do it. But even then, I would have to, using my body, have to sit here and think a thought, and the thought will be thinking with my mind. So all that, and it's still all God. It's not. It's still all, and it's still all God. But not in the sense that I own this thing. I don't own anything. I don't own anything, which is why I don't know what anything is for. I don't own anything. Who thought when I bought the book that I was going to be giving away the book? I see a hand. Hi, Steve. Go ahead.
Uh, we in since 1895, the beginning of the chiropractic understanding, which goes back actually before the actual physical chiropractic adjustment, the philosophy is very old. And what it says may not be in tune with the Course in Miracles and what we're reading right now about I am not this body. We say, and I believe that it's a miracle, is that life is neither all spiritual, which is kind of what the Course says, that I am all spiritual, I'm not physical. But in chiropractic and in my common sense, that and including my teacher for many years, life is neither all spiritual nor all physical, but it is the expression which we were just read about. It is the expression of the spiritual through the physical. And what a miraculous window this short life is in order to know the divine while I'm here in this physical body. I'm so lucky, grateful to have this rare opportunity. Thank you. I'm complete.
Oh, I agree. I agree. I agree. I this body belongs to me, and I take care of it. And I love my chiropractor, by the way. Since 1986, I absolutely adore my chiropractor. In fact, I wrote a song for my chiropractor. I really did. I wrote a song for my chiropractor. Seriously, if you need a place, his name was Bruce. If you need a place to go where the price is really low, go see Bruce because he's the one who makes being doctored fun. He will greet you with a smile, show and interest all the while. Any ache he'll ease for you. Listen to your problems too. If you want a remedy with no drugs, then you should see back man. Anyway, yeah, and then it goes on and on. I love my chiropractor. Became my God for a while. I went from being on a cane, I was on a cane, to running and jumping and all that stuff. So no, I understand that I have this body belongs to me. And it's up to me to take care of it. I can't deny that I have this body. In fact, what the Course does say, that's an unworthy form of denial. Can't deny this. I can't deny this. And I also can't deny that I am able to sit and maybe have a thought that you might pick up, that that whole that we're connected, because whatever the source is that that got me here got you here too, and it's the same source, that same source. In fact, I'm going to back that up a little bit. The same source that has always been, Einstein calls it energy. I'm going to accept that word. The same energy that has always been, and I'm part of that. I am it. I am that. I'm an emanation of that. I'm taking the word parts out now, because parts and parts suggest separation. Yeah, and granted, my body is called Zulma and your body is called Steve, but that body belongs to you like it belongs to me. And there'll come a time when I'm gonna let it go. I'm going to let it go. The Course says willingly. I'm going to let it go. It's not going to be. So it's like on loan to me. It's like when a mother, once the umbilical cord is cut, the fact is that the actual job for the mother is done. That job was to get that child on the planet. And that mother and the parents may well say, "Oh, well, that's my child. You're my child, and you'll always be my child." No, the work, that part is done. The child thinks independently. The child breathes independently. The child breathes independently, blinks its eyes independently. All that stuff. It doesn't belong to. It's on loan, if you will. At least that's the way I see it. It's on loan, but I can't deny it. I'm going to bathe it. I'm going to feed it, and whatever else. I can never ever deny the body. I can't say it's not real, because like I always use the example, if I slap you, I dare you to tell me oh, Steve, don't worry about it, it wasn't real, I just and you telling me, well, no, I'm getting ready to whip your I'm about to whip your tail, now you tell me that's not real. um uh, so let's see, I'm going into the chat. I see a few things here. Glorian wrote, the more we think we know blocks us from the truth of I do not know what anything is for. Yeah, because I'm in the way. I can't learn. I can't learn anything if I think I know it all. Boy, somebody should have told me that. And when I was in my elementary years between seventh and eighth grade, I just wish somebody had told me that. And Deb wrote, I read recently, habits are the things we do without thinking. Choose good ones, but they don't start out that way. I used to be a nicotine addict. I used to be heavily addicted to nicotine, and what started as I took I made a conscious choice to take one of my grandmother's cigarettes when I was 12, and I was doing that. I was, stealing cigarettes from my grandmother, and that became conscious. And then at some point, how do they say the program, first you take the thing, then the thing takes the thing, and then the thing takes you. Like that. I took the cigarette, I took the nicotine, and the nicotine, it's like, kind of like connecting with itself. The nicotine took the nicotine, and the nicotine took me. The habit came as a result of doing it consciously at first, to the point where it just became. It's like I'll read a Course in Miracles lesson, not because, or something else, not because granted, it's a choice that I'm making, but I'm in the habit of reading something from the course every day. It's a habit. It's just a habit. My book or my Kindle is, the course is always right there, but not just that anymore, but it became to the point where it is engagement. The course calls it engaging with God. And when you're engaged, it's become a part of me. It's become a part of me. Not so much the book, but the book is where the teaching is contained. So yeah, it's all connected that way. And the book and my body and all that. They're all the tangible things that make up all of what my life is. It's a part of my life. I can't deny it. I can't deny that this group exists. ACIM Gather exists. I can't deny that. Hi, Sharonda. I can't deny that Sharonda and McKaylee and Karen just showed up, and they all can hear me. I can't deny if their ears are near the screen. I can't deny that. And those are all bodily things. They're all bodily things, but so I can't deny it. But I understand that they're temporary. That I understand. And that's why I can't claim any of this as being mine. It comes and it goes. It's written in the Bible 727 times. It came to pass. It came to pass. It came to pass. And none of it is here to stay in that regard. It's about time for me to go. I had quite a few other slides to share. I haven't even gotten to where I wanted to get, but I guess I did. Um, um, I'll talk more about decisions next week. Got quite a bit to say about decisions and the decisions that we make, decisions we don't make, and not my own words, but those different authors who have helped me with this, who are helping me along with my decisions to keep me flowing, to keep me from holding on to the past. I'm in a decluttering mood, and I'm loving it. And I'm accepting. And for those of you who came on later, if you're one of those organized people and you have a suggestion, which I may or may not, don't hold me to trying to take it as gospel. But if you have a great suggestion that you think can help, take it. Appreciate it. I did put my email in the chat. I'm going to do it again, and then I'm getting out of here. I love you, family, and keep engaging with God. Keep engaging with God. As long as we keep looking toward peace and love and joy, we're going to keep on attracting peace and love and joy. I said that in a talk I gave. I attract loving people. I like that. I
Zulma,
like that. Yes.
Zulma, did you say you were looking for someone to help you to organize?
Kinda.
You know who the girl is you want to call? Melissa Motts. That girl is the most organized person in the world. Let me tell you, she is the one. Just a suggestion.
Give Melissa a call. I'll do that. I'll do exactly that. Thank you. Appreciate that, Karen. Thank you, my Karen. Family, it's been fun, but I gotta run. So Lynn, here's the mic.
Thank you so much, Zulma. Man, what an hour of power. I'm so grateful for you. And I'm going to go ahead and shut off the YouTube.